Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria if you're new here. Hello, nice to meet you. Today I have a little flow that has a bit of stretch, a bit of strengthening, a bit of mobility packed into a little bite-sized package for you. Now I do suggest having a resistance band, but you can theoretically do all of it without one, and I will try to give some cues in case you don't have one, just so everyone can participate. So whenever you're ready, let's get started. So today we are going to start in standing, and if you're using a resistance band, go ahead and grab it. You're finding about a shoulder width grip on that band. You're standing up nice and tall, soft bend to those knees, about a fist width between those legs. Shoulders away from the ears. Finding a bit of that neutral pelvis and spine. With your arms down, we're going to sweep them up just until that band is roughly in front of that forehead, slightly in front of those ears. You're going to draw your elbows down and out like you're making goalpost cactus arms, stretching that band across that forehead, and then you're going to slowly bring it back up and then lower those arms back down. So exhaling to sweep those arms up. Inhaling to draw the elbows out, exhaling to reach up, and then inhaling to come all the way down. Again, every time I give breathing cues, it is just a suggestion. Do not have to listen. As long as you're breathing along with the movement, that's the most important thing. And going in your own time, nice and slow, controlling the release of the band as you bring it back in. And sweeping your arms up and down, you're just gonna wanna make sure that your core is turning on to keep everything in line. So your ribs are staying nice and soft. They're not puffing out. Let's just do one more. But this time on that last one, we're going to keep our arms up. And again, just slightly in front of those ears, shoulders nice and relaxed. And we're just going to take a side dip. So standing into those 2 feet evenly, soft bend to those knees. You're going to find a dip over to the right, keeping the arms where they are over your head, and then slowly coming back up, restacking in that spine. And then you're just going to pull the band, stretching it slightly, and then bring it back in. So you're keeping your arms straight as you pull it out and return it. Exhale to find that dip onto that left side. Again, hips facing forward. Coming all the way up on an inhale. Exhale to stretch, and inhale to release. Going nice and slow, thinking up and over as you find that side bend. Making sure that both of your feet have even weight distribution. You're not leaning into one foot. Let's just do one more on each side. My arms are just getting tired from holding them up. Evening out on both sides, moving from that center. And when you're done, we're just going to bring our arms all the way back down. Let's just shake it out a little bit. It's quite intense in your entire, up and down the entire length of the arm. And shake it out. We're still gonna keep hold of that band, again, at about a shoulder width distance. Finding about a hip width distance between those feet. Standing up nice and tall, we're going to find our squats. So, dropping into that seat behind us, your arms are going to sweep up again, just until they're in front of those ears. And then you're going to slowly stand back up. Arms sweep down. Exhaling. And then inhaling. And again, you want to keep a bit of that uprightness in your torso, just so we're not losing too much of that neutral pelvis and spine alignment. So try not to lean too far forwards. It's almost as if you're just going down to sit in a chair. And let's just do 2. One last one. We're going to squat and hold And then you're just gonna bring your arms in front, slightly below the shoulder height. And doing the same thing, we're just going to pull that band across, keeping those arms nice and straight, and then bring it back in nice and controlled. Exhale to pull apart, inhale to come back in. So again, you can do all this without a band. You're just going to be moving your arms out and in. Let's just do 2 and 1. And then you're gonna straighten all the way up, dropping those arms. Again, you might wanna just shake them out a little bit. It's a little bit intense in the arms. And then you are going to find a kneeling position. So you can just pop the band to the side for now, just so we don't fall. And you're gonna find a kneeling position, and you're gonna sit back onto those heels. Okay? Grabbing a hold of the band if you're using it. Again, about a shoulder width distance. And again, if you're not using a band, just do the same movements without the band. That's okay. You're still going to get a little bit of that stretch and benefit. So we're gonna keep our arms, we're gonna start with our arms up, again, just slightly in front of those ears so we're not locking in the shoulders. And we're gonna do a very similar thing, sweeping our arms down as we come up into that kneeling position. And you're gonna pull that band against your hip as you close in the shoulder blades. You're sending your arms slightly back, finding a chest opener, looking slightly up. And then you're gonna slowly sweep those arms up as you sit all the way back down onto the heels. Exhaling to find that lift into that kneeling position. Finding that chest stretch, ribs are still pulling towards that ground. And then sending everything back to the start. So maybe exhaling to find that chest opener. And then inhale to bring everything back. Now, if you're not using a band, you're just doing the same thing. I apologize, I didn't really give you any cues before, but starting with your hands up, maybe palms facing in, and you're just gonna do the same thing. Coming up into kneeling as you sweep your arms up, you're sending your arms back, pinching at the shoulder blades, looking up, chest open, and then you're gonna slowly come back into that seated position, arms back up. So wherever you are, we're just going to do one more. Your core is actively working against that band to keep that alignment in place, and then we're gonna slowly come all the way back down. Amazing. So we are going to just, again, pop it over to the side as we change starting positions. Coming up into that kneeling position, we're gonna step that right leg forward. So we're in this sort of kneeling lunge. Your left knee is underneath that hip joint, and your right ankle is underneath that right knee. So you're making this 90-degree angle with both of your legs, and your torso is upright. So you're finding that neutral pelvis and spine, ribs soft, top of the head drawing towards that ceiling. Taking the resistance band, if you are using it, again, if you're not, it's totally fine. Just do the same thing with the arms. You're going to thread it behind you. So it's gonna be, I think my hair might be covering it. It's gonna be behind that upper back area. And you're just going to you're gonna extend the arms into this sort of T-shaped position, and you're just gonna grab the bands like this. It doesn't have to be super taut, just, so it's not collapsing. So it's gonna sit behind your shoulder blades. You want your arms to be slightly in front and slightly below your shoulder height, just so you're not locking in those shoulders, okay? Finding balance between both of those legs, we're going to find a waist twist. So moving from that torso, we're gonna rotate towards that knee that stepped up, only as far as you can without starting to rotate in the left hip. And then you're gonna slowly come all the way back forwards. And then we're just gonna pull the band, making parallel arms, reaching them forward, and then bring it all the way back. Exhaling again to rotate towards that knee. Arms are staying nice and wide, You're moving from that center, inhaling to rotate back. Exhale to pull those arms forward. And inhaling to bring them back wide. So again, even if you're not using a band, you're doing the same thing. Keeping those arms out in that T position, and then you're just going to bring your arms forward, reaching them parallel without the band. Let's just do 2 more like this, going nice and slow. Last one. Keeping those shoulders nice and relaxed. And then when we're done, we're just going to drop that band, toss it to the side, and let's just do a nice little stretch. So you might want to bring your foot slightly forwards, that right foot slightly forwards, and we're going to find a little runner's lunge. So finding a bit of that stretch in that left quad as you send your weight forwards and into that hip flexor, really. Hands on the mat. Maybe you want to wiggle side to side. If it's uncomfortable underneath your left knee, go ahead and place a cushion or a pillow or something below it if that feels better. And then on that next exhale, we're just going to send those hips back, shifting our weight into that left knee. Maybe you want to flex that right foot, just so we're stretching that right hamstring. Again, keeping those hands on the mat and trying to make a flat back just so you feel it a little bit deeper in that hamstring. Let's just breathe here for 1 more breath. And then we're just going to come back forwards onto the foot. Bring that right knee back underneath, and we're just going to swap feet. So stepping up that left foot. Again, you want your stepped up foot to be right underneath that knee, and the right knee is now underneath that hip. And we're just facing forwards, making that 90-degree angle with those legs. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you're using that band, go ahead and grab that band, stretching it across your back. We're just going to find those wide T-arms, grabbing at the bands, again, slightly in front and below those shoulders. And we're just going to find that rotation towards that left knee. I should probably actually face this way. Okay. Evenly sending weight between both the foot and the knee, nice and centered. Rotating from that waist, we're going to turn and twist towards that left knee, and then come all the way back forwards. And then we're pulling that band, reaching our arms in front, and then bringing it back out into that T position. So exhaling to find that rotation. Again, your arms are staying exactly where they are. It's just your body rotating. Inhaling to come forwards. Exhaling to pull, and inhaling to bring your arms all the way out. The opposite hip, so the right hip is acting as opposition when you find that twist. It's going to naturally want to come forwards, but to prevent it from doing so, you're going to pull it back. It's like it's anchored in place. Okay, let's just do 2. Going nice and slow. And then one, last one, best one. And then when you're done, you're going to just toss that band to the side, and let's find that runner stretch. So maybe you're gonna scooch that left foot up slightly as you lean in, sending that weight forwards. Maybe your hands come down onto the mat. And you just want to find, where am I touching? Over here. You want to find that hip flexor stretch in the front of that leg. So it's okay if it looks like this. Just sending it down as much as you can, pushing it forwards to get that stretch. I'm just gonna be here for another breath. Maybe you wanna wiggle side to side. And on that next exhale, we're going to send our weight back into that right knee. Maybe you wanna flex that front foot now. You're gonna walk your hands back slightly, finding that hamstring stretch in your left leg. And again, you wanna try to find a flat back just so we're feeling that stretch as much as we can. Just breathing here for a few more breaths. Try not to only put weight in one leg. We're evenly distributing that weight between both sides of our body. And then on your next exhale, we're going to just roll forwards. And let's bring that knee all the way back under us. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I hope you enjoyed that little strength and mobility flow. I'm feeling a little loose, but also a little sore. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.